The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, can be heard every Sunday at 6 p.m. right here on 660 AM The Answer in Dallas-Fort Worth. Life is full of circles, cycles, phases, and stages. It's your choice to ignore them or embrace them. Motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the J.C. Cooley Foundation, James Cooley, and his guests will inspire and equip you to strive for your own greatness and overcome adversities. Listen to The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, every Sunday at 6 p.m. right here on 660 AM The Answer in Dallas-Fort Worth.
The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, can be heard every Sunday at 9 p.m. right here on The Answer San Diego. Life is full of circles, cycles, phases, and stages. It's your choice to ignore or embrace them. Motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the J.C. Cooley Foundation, James Cooley, and his guest will inspire and equip you to strive for your own greatness and overcome adversities. Listen to The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, every Sunday at 9 p.m. right here on The Answer San Diego.
Let's go, let's go, let's go. It's the James Cooley Show. It's your life. Dr. James J.C. Cooley. All right. Yeah. Dr. James J.C. Cooley. The James Cooley Show. It's your life. Yeah. James J.C. Cooley. The James Cooley Show. It's your life. Hey.
Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley, but it's 360 degree health. So we got a guest co-host with me. And I tell you, I think this is 84th or 85th episode. I'm kind of losing count, dog.
I'm impressed that every week you add another number. It's great. It's an honor, truly to be with you and Michelle both. And
It's always a pleasure. It's always
carrying it on week after week. Although next week we're changing the day, aren't we?
We're changing back to Tuesday, where we got all the radio stations and television and podcasts locked in live at the same time. So that's going to be exciting.
Yes.
So, I mean, you see what you have done, Doc?
Oh, yeah.
You came up with this thing called the link is what you think.
Right.
And it has spread it all over the world.
Yes, it has.
And you always bring the best docs on in the world. And you got one today. And I'm not going to give away Michelle's intro because she's going to look at me funny. And then once we off camera, she's going to come in here and look at me funny again. So I better hold back on that one.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to It's Your Life with Dr. James J.C. Cooley. Yeah, we are definitely excited to have this amazing guest on the show today. She's a first-time visitor to It's Your Life with Dr. James J.C. Cooley, and it is 360-degree Health Day, and we have this every week with our co-host, Dr. Michael Manteau, who's a rational emotive behavior coach. So we're really excited to have this guest on, and whatever platform you're watching the show on, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, we're on over 80 live streaming platforms. Please type in your comments, ask questions to this amazing guest today.
Wow. Let me put it like this. We're on 84 different platforms. Regardless of which platform that you're watching us on, was it E36 Television, Transfer TV, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Rumble, and over 84 other platforms. Welcome to the show. If you want to be part of this great conversation that we're going to have today, because you want to lock in, tune in on this one, all you have to do is just go to the platform that you're watching us on, ask any question that you might have. I promise you, we'll get you an answer. Michelle, can you please introduce the title of the show, the purpose of the show, and introduce this magnificent guest that we got.
Yes. Again, audience, it is 360-degree Health Day, and the title of today's show is Why Brain-Based Weight Loss is Better Than Medication and Surgery. And we're having a conversation with Dr. Franchell Hamilton. Wow, she's the CEO, founder of NeuroSwitch Weight Loss. She's a medical director, author, speaker, consultant, bariatric surgeon of obesity and lifestyle medicine specialist. She's going to talk about how brain-based weight loss treats the cause, not just the symptom, neurobehavioral-based treatment, and Nutrigenomic-based treatment, how it empowers rather than overrides the body's natural intelligence, how brain-based methods support the whole person, not just the scale. So again, Dr. Hamilton, wow, she went to work helping patients struggling with complex obesity. As her practice grew, she expanded her services and became board certified in obesity medicine and received several certifications in neuroscience, functional medicine, and genetics. She has now combined all these approaches into her trademark program, NeuroSwitch Weight Loss, which uses a brain-based and genetic approach as its foundation. This program helps to create new neural pathways in the brain and personalizes the journey based on obesity phenotypes, so success can be permanent because it not only addresses the disease, but also the root cause and the methods to prevent it from reoccurring. She's the author of the following books, and The Best Diet Is, as well as Transformation is My Mindset. There's so much to talk about this guest. We're going to let her do it. Please welcome to the show, Dr. Franchell Hamilton.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for the great introduction. I'm super excited to talk to you guys today. Thank you so much.
Dr. Hamilton, I am so delighted that you accepted the invitation to come on today.
Yeah.
Every week, we look at wellness from every angle: mind, body, behavior, spirit. But today, we're going to be looking into one of the most misunderstood, emotionally loaded, and biologically complex health challenges of our time: weight loss.
Yeah.
And you are on the cutting edge of that. So thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
So,
I'm excited.
Doc, besides what Michelle had mentioned, can you tell our viewers and listeners a little bit more about you? What make you click? Why are you so passionate about the things that you're doing? And I know that your foresight on solving this problem, especially with the mind. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So I originally started, as all surgeons do, general surgery residency. And when I was able to rotate through the bariatric, what we call the obesity portion of surgery, I saw so many benefits from surgery. Like at the time, I felt like this was going to be really life-changing. It resolved not only just like the weight, but the high blood pressure, the diabetes, for some, the depression, the cholesterol, like so many different things. And so that's kind of what drew me into bariatrics in general. I wanted to be able to treat more than just one thing, like kind of everything that's wrong with the patient. And so that's what kind of took me on that journey. When I became in private practice and did several hundreds, thousands of surgeries, I realized just doing the surgery wasn't enough. And so I started looking at and exploring on my own other methods that could help my patient, the person standing right in front of me. It wasn't kind of anything else. It was kind of listening to their stories, hearing their family, and realizing that just doing a surgery by itself was not going to be enough to help this patient in front of me. There were so many different things to take into account. A weight gain journey, right? It's not just about cutting calories, because the surgery did that. And so once I started listening and realizing this for my patient, I kind of went on my own journey, kind of as a black sheep, actually, initially to my like committees, and started exploring these other modalities. And hence that's where all these other certifications came from. And I learned from that and then brought it back to my patients and now educate several other physicians in regards to this method. So that's kind of where all of this passion came from. Like, I'm passionate about resolving this because this is probably the number one, I feel like, global epidemic. So not just in the United States, around the world, it's obesity. And obesity has so many consequences: cancer risk, high blood pressure, diabetes, like all of these things trickle from this one thing at the top, obesity. So that's why I'm so passionate about it.
Well, you are, excuse the pun, but you are reshaping how we think about why we gain weight, why we struggle to lose it, what's really going on between our ears that drives what we put into our mouths. So let me start by asking you to talk about what exactly is brain-based weight loss, and how does it differ from traditional weight loss approaches?
Yeah, so I if I'm honest, I feel like I truly kind of almost pioneered this. When I started doing what I considered brain-based weight loss, probably about 6 or 7 years ago, no one was really doing it. And I always took, and ever since then, I kind of took this approach and saw significantly better results in the long term, because I was never just about short term. So essentially, brain-based weight loss, by my definition, is this combination of being able to lose weight, but with focusing on changing patterns and functionality of the brain. And as you know, doctor, the brain is what? Neuroplastic. We saw that in addiction medicine. It has the ability to create new neural pathways. I call them highways with my patients. And so the goal of brain-based is to change those pathways. And then that's the only way, to be honest. I've done the GLP-1s, I've done the surgery, changing the brain pathways, how you think about things, food, your behaviors, exercise, is the only way, in my opinion, to truly have sustainable weight loss.
And when you think about the Ozempic and all these other GLP-1s, they have become so prominent and so prevalent. How do you understand that? Or do people think this is the easy way? Take a shot and I'm great? Or what do you think about this?
Yeah, and I have also treated several patients with GLP-1. Like I think it's good for certain, just like surgery, right? They all have their role, but I always tell my patients the foundation has to be the brain and also genetics, which we can get into. But essentially, the way the GLP-1s work, they block signals. So the brain releases different chemicals in the brain all the time in response to so many different things, right? We've heard of serotonin, we've heard of dopamine, we've heard of so many different things. And these GLP-1s help kind of block a lot of those signals, but they don't change the neural pathways unless you put in the work to have the neural pathways change. They'll cut your appetite hormone, they'll cut your craving hormone by interfering with the reward pathway in the brain, but without changing the neural pathways, all of that will come back.
And we're going to talk about what we can do to maybe help change those neural pathways and how to reframe our understanding of what weight loss is. Many years ago, for many long time, we talked about Weight Watchers, and this was the cutting edge of everything. Not so much today.
You know, I tell you what, this is so interesting already. We're going to take a first station break. But when we come back, Doc, you're on a hot seat. You're going to educate all of us, educate the world. So if you want to be part of this conversation, whichever platforms you're watching us on, all you have to do is go to the comments. Mm-hmm. Any question that you might have, I promise you we'll get you an answer. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
Dr. James, JC, Cooley. The James Cooley Show. It's your life.
Welcome to Viridian Christian University, where faith and learning come together to transform lives. At VCU, we believe that education is more than just academics. It's about fostering a community of growth, integrity, and purpose. Whether you're pursuing a bachelor's, master's, or doctorate, VCU offers flexible, affordable, and 100% online degree programs that cater to your busy life. Our innovative platform provides a personalized learning experience, empowering you to thrive in today's ever-evolving world. Join a global community of learners guided by an experienced faculty who are committed to your success. With VCU, you're not just earning a degree, you're preparing for a future that integrates faith, leadership, and service. Viridian Christian University. Educating with purpose, transforming lives. Learn more at VeridianChristianUniversity.com. VeridianChristianUniversity.com.
Really get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, or hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? And everything that you do.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life and Wednesday, 306 Degree Health, with my co-host, Dr. Michael Mantell. Dr. Mike, I tell you again, you're like in a home run. I can tell just in the first segment. First segment is bam, out the park. But it's so much that we're gonna get into in the next three segments. And, I want to start off with the first question. So the title of what we're talking about is why brain-based weight loss is better than medication and surgery. So, Doc, what are the risks of relying on medication for weight loss that the public most of the time overlook?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So first of all, medications, all the weight loss medications, all the classes have risk of the medication, right? And depending on which type of medication, they have their own risk. Back in the day, it was the phentermine and the fen-phen. For those who are old enough to remember that, fen-phen was taken off the market. Phentermine had a lot of cardiovascular effects. They've over the years have made that better, but a lot of people could not deal with a lot of the side effects. We've moved to GLP-1s. GLP-1s are predominantly GI side effects. And because I'm also a surgeon, considered a GI surgeon, bariatric surgeon, and take call in the hospital, I was seeing firsthand a lot of the side effects of GLP-1s. Now, don't get me wrong, I prescribe them. I think they work well for the right person, but there are a lot of complications. I had to treat pancreatitis, which is inflammation of the pancreas in the abdomen. I've had a couple of patients who lost function. You can lose function of your stomach. It stops working. This is why a lot of people get constipation. This is what these GLP-1s are supposed to do, right? They're supposed to slow gastric emptying, but sometimes they do a little bit too well. And a lot of people don't get that function back, and the stomach just stops what we call peristalsing, meaning moving down as food moves down the GI, and they've had to have surgery. Once it becomes permanent, you have to switch over and get a surgery for that. And that's just a few. We've had kidney problems. People are getting dehydrated. We've had people lose too much weight. So medication is not without the risk, not to mention big picture, long term, the effectiveness decreases. So they work really well the first several months, maybe even the first year and a half, but long term, and I know all of the patients who have been on these medications, the phentermines, the biggest, it stops working. Even the GLP-1s, they work well, but over time, the effectiveness will go down. And that's just a matter of our inherent body's protective system.
Dr. Hamilton, if we step back for a moment, we look at this what is it, a 75 or 80 billion dollar industry, whatever the number is lately. We understand that the impact on the individual is so great, not just physiologically, psychologically, spiritually, mind, body. A number of years ago, myself and a physician, a couple other people started something we call Plus Size Certified. We were banging our heads against the wall to help restaurants, gyms, airplanes understand that when you have someone who has obesity, we don't use the expression is obese, has obesity, and they come to a gym and they have to get on a bicycle seat, and the seat is this little, they're not going to come. If there's no place to sit in the locker room, it's comfortable. If the seat in the airplane is too small, if the restaurant has tiny chairs, they're being told, we don't want you. So the work you're doing is so essential from the beginning. Like, how do I lose weight? So what brains, let me come back to you, what you're doing. What brain structures and systems are most involved in weight gain and loss, and how? Talk about that.
Yeah, so there's so many, and there's so many like hormones that our brains release and respond to. Our brains have receptors. I always, just so you guys know, big picture, I call the brain the CEO of the body, and the gut, which is a whole nother topic, the COO. And believe it or not, they're constantly communicating with each other through different mechanisms. Some of it's neural mechanisms, some of it's releasing hormones. And when these things get released, they tell the body to do different things. So the brain, I call it the CEO because, believe it or not, it tells the brain different things. But it's responsible for your metabolism, how fast or slow it wants to go. It's responsible for your cravings. It's responsible ultimately for your behavior. What you choose to do was initially first plugged in the brain, and then your brain is just simply making your body carry out the order, so to speak. So, and it starts with the thought, like you know this better than me, probably, the thoughts that come in. So the biggest systems that I talk about, understanding there's multiple areas of the brain. The amygdala is huge in this, but it's the reward. I break it down into the reward system and then what I call the anti-reward system. So the reward system is made up of what's called mesolimbic. There's several structures in there. For the people out there, you just need to know kind of reward, the things that you want to do, released, run, and managed by the manager dopamine. It kind of tells them what to do. Oh, this makes me happy. This makes me feel good. And this is why a lot of these processed foods, believe it or not, there's been studies, it actually releases the dopamine in the brain when you consume them. And that is why your brain then tells your body, go get more of that because you're feeling down and I want you to feel happy. And this is what releases your dopamine and makes you feel happy. So that's one area. And there's several things that can release dopamine, by the way, but this is in the context of food and weight gain. So the more processed stuff that we eat, the more your body and your brain is like, oh, this is great. I love this. And it will trigger you to want or do more of that particular behavior. The other side of that is called what I call the anti-reward system, predominantly run by what I call the habenula. It's a hard stop. So it makes you kind of stop doing things. So when I've been interviewed about this before, beginning of the year, everybody has their goals. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to eat healthy. And then all of a sudden, 3 weeks later, it's a hard stop. That's your anti-reward system. And it's just saying, look, like I've seen this before. You've done this before. It literally triggers your body a behavior to say, we're not doing this anymore. I remember that injury you had 2 years ago. It's just like, I always say, it's like, if you touch a hot stove and you get burned, that's the habenula that reminds you not to do that the next time. And so a lot of these start and stop functions is because it's almost like a failure. The brain is saying, you didn't do that well the last time we tried this, so I'm going to make you stop doing that. That diet you tried, the keto diet you did for 30 days, you didn't lose weight, so I'm going to make you not and stop trying to do that this time. And so those are kind of big bucket, high level, kind of the two areas in the brain that I often talk about.
You describe this and you bring thoughts into it. and I do a lot of cognitive behavioral coaching work and so forth. And so I to me, everything starts with what you tell yourself. So like you just said, so like this is telling you, I did the keto for 30 days, it didn't work. Now it's telling you this. How do you deal with those thoughts in your work?
Yeah. So honestly, a lot of it is probably along the same lines. So the way I deal with those, I always tell my patients we have to rewire. I use that term a lot. We have to rewire those thoughts, those networks. And I explain it to them. We can start on the same highway, but we need to almost like go around it, right? And so if people don't like going to the gym because almost like what you described, they feel like they're being looked at, or it's all these like buff people that they just don't feel like they fit in. I'm like, then don't go to the gym. Like anything that your brain, when you think about it, gives you a hard stop, I'm like, don't do it. So we go around those pathways. So I'm like, okay, what do you like doing? Almost like what brings the dopamine? How can we go around the habenula so it doesn't hit that hard stop and do something that you like? Do you like biking? Do you like walking? And so we start to like do some of those things that are more dopamine releasing and not going to give them the hard stop.
So how quickly do you notice when you have a patient that's switching, from the things that they have already learned that's not no good in what you're teaching them? How typically long does it take before you can see the mindset is working?
Well, it's the patients usually see it before I do, and they usually will tell me. So on our, like, for example, an initial consultation will just be me gathering data. Really, I just want to gather as much information. And I ask a lot of why questions. So they'll be like, yeah, I go to the gym, but I don't like going to the gym. Really? Why? Or, you know what I'm saying? And that helps me like give. So as a provider, which is what a lot of people, they give the prescriptive, and I call it prescriptive, 30 minutes, go to the, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, that, you cannot do that for everybody. And so for another example with food or drinks, a lot of people like their soda, right? So let's just take giving soda. And so one of the things, we kind of list all their unhealthy habits. This usually happens at the first visit. And then I'm like, why do you like that soda? And they're shocked because nobody has asked them this before, right? And so they're like, what does she mean? Why do I like soda? I'm like, is it the carbonation? Is it the caffeine? Is it the flavor? Like, I need you to hone in on why you like that soda. And then they'll be like, oh, well, I think it's the caffeine. And I'm like, okay, well, if it's the caffeine, let's focus on other beverages that can give you caffeine that is not loaded with processed sugar. So we start there. And so we do baby steps. So we start picking each little habit, like bit by bit. We figure out why their brain likes it, right? Mm-hmm. That's the question. Because most of the time the person doesn't even know, but why does your brain want? Is it the sugar? Okay, we can find something else with flavor, another way to flavor that, And so whatever the root is, why they don't like that behavior or why they do that behavior, we keep that. That's the foundation, because we can't form new pathways if we don't keep that. And then once we kind of start, okay, well, let's try this. Well, let's try this. And once they figure out things that works for them instead of, oh, it's easy for them to do. And they don't even want that anymore. They'll be like, Dr. Hamilton, I don't even want that soda anymore. It's gross. I don't even know why. They'll come to me. And that's when we've officially changed permanently.
Dr. Hamilton, I have a quick question before we go into break. Have you come across situations where a patient may have an enabler of food in their life, whether it's a family member or a spouse that is kind of enabling their bad habits? And let's say the spouse maybe have an obesity problem themselves and they haven't addressed it. And sometimes when they say misery likes company. So how do you address that? That's another set of questions, I guess.
Yeah. And honestly, that happens all the time. That happened in my bariatric patients. I made my patients come in with their significant other at some point in the conversation. I had to bring them in because I ended up treating, that's why I treated so many families. I'm like, this has to be done together. So, I have patients who are like, yeah, it's usually after work at night, the husband or wife, they've already had dinner, and then there's like whatever sweet treat, oh, we do that because that's our time. The kids are down and that's our time to spend together. And so I'm like, okay, well, what else can we do instead of that? And I don't take, so that's the thing. I don't take it away, at least not initially. I substitute. And that's where my NeuroSwitch method is. I'm like, fine. If you guys can't get rid of that, that's fine. We need to switch it. If that's your time, because that's giving them another dopamine release, spending that time with that family member or that spouse when you know what I'm saying? And so we just do a healthier option that I say will not affect their weight loss. And we discuss options, and then we switch it to that. And sometimes that works. And sometimes eventually they're just like, you know what? We just realized we don't even need that anymore. So no, I get that all the time. And so I work with, usually if there's a significant other involved that is doing that, then I usually have them be involved in the calls.
Wow. This is so intriguing. We're going to take a station break. We're going to come back. We got a lot more. We got audience. I'm looking at the numbers. Why don't you ask the question that you want to ask questions? Do it. I tell you what, we're going to take a station break, but we're going to come back. We got a lot more, Dr. Hamilton. And I tell you, this conversation is heating up even more. So we'll see you shortly after the break. Remember, it's your life. And we'll see you shortly after the break.
Hi, I'm Dr. Michelle Cooley. Heart disease research saves lives. It's that simple. Thanks to medical advancements funded by the American Heart Association, more women are surviving heart attacks, strokes, and other cardiovascular diseases than ever before. But there's still so much work to do.
Hi, I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley, and I'm raising funds to support life-saving research because every heartbeat is worth fighting for. In honor of Women's History Month, please join me in support of the American Heart Association and women's health.
Noah Dingley here, producer of The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. And the new audio version of James' book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, is a must-have. James shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. Get the new audio version of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James Cooley on Amazon.com or wherever audiobooks are sold.
The future is here.
Now is the time to pursue the greatness in you. Welcome to Viridian Christian University, where faith meets future. We are a fully accredited, 100% online Christian university. We offer bachelor's degree, master's and doctorate degree programs, built for students like you. Affordable tuitions, 30+ degree programs, 100% online and flexible. Integrating faith with learning. Study from anywhere at your pace. At VCU, we do not just prepare you for a degree. We prepare you for purpose. Discover who you are. Grow in faith. And build a future that impacts the world.
Are you ready to start your journey today?
Visit www.viridianchristianuniversity.com.
Apply today and be among the global leaders.
Welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life. And I tell you, that last segment, Doc, you was on fire. You changed a whole lot of mindsets, I believe. There's folks that just sitting here. I'm looking at the numbers and they look pretty good. But I hope that they are taking this in because there are certain ways that you talked about that to lose weight. And first of all, I believe it's the mindset. The mindset is the most important thing if you want to achieve any goal. So it's so important that we have to change our mindset. And we have to want to. I always say in my speeches, you can't do unless you want to. You have to want to do these things, so this so important, so I'm going to turn it back over to one of the greatest doctors that I know, Dr. Michael Mantel.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Dr. Hamilton. Dr. Hamilton, I am just in awe of listening to you because the way you integrate so many different things in your brain-based weight loss program, what you call NeuroSwitch. I want to share something that happened literally before we came on the air. I have a deep love for these black and white cookies. You know what I mean? They are the best things in the world. They make my dopamine go crazy. Okay. I looked at them. I had one early this morning. All right. I'm going to have another one before the show. And I said to myself, what do I asked what? Do you say why? I said, what is it that I want? Oh, I love them. They make me feel so good. Just because I want it, I want a new car. Doesn't mean I'm going to go get one. So what else? Just like you teach, what else can I do that will make me feel good? I'm going to get online early and chat with Michelle a little bit. And bingo, there was my switch. So I just think you're so brilliant in the way you bring this. And you make it sound so simple and easy for people. And your patients are blessed that they can speak to you and see you for this. Let me ask you a little bit about how the NeuroSwitch model, your invention, addresses emotional eating, binge eating disorders, and other psychological eating disorders that we hear so much about, anorexia and so.
Yeah, no, thank you for asking. So, and I will say, typically when I realize there's some type of disordered eating, it's definitely going to be a team approach. I'll get my psychologist, involved, do some CBT. There's so many different things that we can do. With that, we kind of work together. So on my end, it's important that they understand what the disorder is. Is it an emotional? And I'll ask them, is it stress eating? Is it boredom eating? And I will tell you, a majority of my patients fall into a category of type of eating. And so most of the time they may not know. I think anorexia and bulimia is a little bit is obvious, but some of the other ones, I'll be like, do you stress eat? And they may say no at first. And then once we kind of start talking about it, they're like, oh, I guess I do. Or, you know what I'm saying? And so one of the things that we do is figure out where it falls and what is triggering that eating, because I feel like they need to understand and name it. And then they need to be able to be kind of aware of it, because some people don't even realize the candy they have on their desk that they're just like, you know what I'm saying, fumbling through day after day. Some people, you'd be surprised, don't even realize that they're doing that. And so once we identify, is it boredom? Is it stress? Is it truly like emotional? Is it anxiety driven? A lot of people have what's called food noise, and we can talk about this later, but I feel like that's just a form of anxiety. It's intrusive thoughts, you know what I'm saying, that then triggers certain behavioral patterns. And anyways, that's a whole different topic. A lot of people wanted these meds to have that turned off, but that doesn't necessarily just go away without treatment. But that is one of the things that I do. We identify what it is first, and then we do switches based around that. So if it's boredom eating, they need something what I call to do. So what else can you do besides when you're bored, besides eat? They give me that. I just help them kind of work through that. And they give me the options that they want to try. And we may try a different variety of things. If they're stressed, it's the same thing. Okay, we need a dopamine release, right? When they're stressed. And I always say, when you're stressed, obviously we all know this, cortisol increases, and dopamine is like the water hose to the cortisol fire, is the way I explain it. So I'm like, what will relieve your dopamine besides food? We can also have some food, but what else besides food? And we go through this whole like exercise. So that's kind of the way I go through that. They have to identify which aspect that is. And then we kind of really hone in and focus on things that we can do in lieu of.
So first of all, you are brilliant. You really are. I'm just no. You remind me of Michelangelo. What do I mean? Michelangelo said he never carved the statue into the stone. He released the statue from the stone. And it sounds so much of what you do with your patients. You help them come up with their answers. But are there specific things that someone should do or would be wise to do if they want to shift their brain to support weight loss? Anything specific that you can recommend?
Well, one of the things that I have all of my patients do is journal. I think it's very important for them to see what's going on, like kind of, and when they have emotions, so this is one of the first things that I have them do. When they have a trigger, I always say, what is the trigger? And then what is the reward? So some people, and sometimes the beginning, they don't even know what it is, right? They just know they ate the chocolate, but they may not know why they ate the chocolate. But over time, they start understanding the trigger. And then it's almost like, what is the trigger? What is the reward? And then we start switching up. Okay, if I have this trigger and then I try this as a reward instead, how do I feel? You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what we start off first. It's awareness, as you probably know, is always kind of the first step for me.
You're certainly aware of a lifestyle medicine has just taken over everything. Everyone is a lifestyle medicine expert today. So are there specific lifestyle medicine practices, nutrition, movement, sleep, stress management, connectivity that are particularly powerful from your experience through the brain-based lens?
Yeah. So there's several things, parts of lifestyle medicine that I think is important that will affect kind of the brain. So typically when people are under a lot of stress and they have not what I call learned or figured out how to release that stress, it affects how they go through this weight loss journey. And so I always say, usually, just so you know, they have an increased appetite typically, and they crave more. Usually it's more processed food. And usually if they have not figured out how kind of to deal with that stress, the people who have learned other stress releasers are usually a little bit better at handling that. And so a lot of times I will have people who struggle with the brain base because they don't realize this particular aspect in their life. I'm taking care of my elderly parents, and they say that doesn't bother them, but that's truly, you know what I'm saying? They haven't figured out how to kind of address that and kind of release some of that. And then the other thing from a sleep perspective, it's very similar with sleep. I have people who, when they're tired, especially my nighttime workers, their cravings and appetite change and shift. So people have a tendency with lack of sleep, you know what I'm saying, to go kind of this way instead of the direction with chronic lack of sleep. So yeah, I mean, of course, lifestyle definitely comes into play with this.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. What do you think, what's your experience? What do you hear surprises patients most when they begin to explore their weight loss journey through the NeuroSwitch lens?
Well, a lot of them usually haven't heard it that way before. And then because I also do a lot of genetics, and I'm like, oh, that's probably your genes, because a lot of us are prone to higher or lower dopamine levels, believe it or not, in how we tolerate stress based on genetics. And so a lot of them feel like this relief almost and I saw in the chat, one of the other questions, the shame, like, oh, it's me, you know what I'm saying? And you're like, no, it's not just you. Like there's behavioral aspects that we can change, but a lot of this is how you're interacting with the environment. And we kind of go over that. And so there's almost this relief for a lot of patients when they understand why it's happening this way. Because most people don't want to struggle, and they don't want to have to go through surgery. They don't want to take shots and they don't understand why it's happening. And so usually doing this method, I help educate them how the brain works, how the genetics works. And they almost feel like this relief of, okay, then it's not just X, Y, and Z. Yeah.
Wow. We're going to take another station break, but our audience just coming in right now. What we're talking about is why brain-based weight loss is better than medications and surgery. So we're going to come back. We got a lot more. Also, when we get back, Dr. Michael Mantel, I'm just going to give him a heads up. It's time for the linkage, what you think. And so he's going to explain that to you when we get back. But I tell you what, you want to be part of this great conversation? All you got to do is just go to the comment, ask any question that you might have. I promise you we'll get you an answer. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
It's the James Cooley Show. It's your life. Dr. James J.C. Cooley. Yeah. Come on.
At Viridian Christian University, we believe education is more than just a degree. It's a pathway to a purpose-driven life. Whether you're advancing your career, pursuing a passion, or building a new future, VCU's 100% online programs give you the flexibility to learn on your terms, anywhere, anytime. With expert faculty, personalized mentorship, and a faith-centered approach, you'll gain the skills, knowledge, and leadership you need to make a lasting impact. VCU offers bachelor's, master's, and doctorate degrees, each designed to empower you for success in today's fast-changing world. Join a global community of believers, learners, and leaders. Ready to start your journey? Viridian Christian University, transforming lives, empowering futures. Visit us at ViridianChristianUniversity.com. That's ViridianChristianUniversity.com.
Noah Dingley here, producer of The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. And the new audio version of James' book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, is a must-have. James shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. Get the new audio version of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James Cooley on Amazon.com or wherever audiobooks are sold.
A Black Man's Point of View is the newest Amazon.com #1 release and bestseller book from author Dr. James J.C. Cooley, featuring the perspective from 11 other contributing authors. In A Black Man's Point of View, Dr. James Cooley unpacks his thoughts and personal experiences about the challenges, stereotypes, and feelings of self-worth that many black men face today due to a 400-year ancestry rooted in slavery and colonization. Yet, how so many black men move forward despite this history. Most importantly, A Black Man's Point of View conveys that all men, regardless of race, creed, or color, are capable of love, respect, and dignity. Described as a map to a greater life from the heart of a man who's experienced life's misfortune and harsh conditions, James shows us how beliefs, convictions, and a healthy mentality can help propel a life worth living. A must-read for all. Order your copy of A Black Man's Point of View by author Dr. James J.C. Cooley today from Amazon.com or wherever books are sold.
Well, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life with 306 Degree Health, Dr. Michael Mantel. And I tell you, I am thoroughly enjoying this guest that we have on, Dr. Michael. I got to do this. I do
it right now. What took you so long?
Dr. Hamilton, you are invited back if your schedule permits. We have to. We got to continue this conversation. I mean, it's not over yet, but we got to continue this conversation.
I have this many more questions to go. We have an expert here. We got to take advantage of this.
Absolutely. One of the things I want to talk about right now is Viridian Christian University. Viridian Christian University is an accredited university that offers over 36 plus degree programs, bachelor's, master's, doctorate, and honorary doctorate degrees. And I'm not just saying that because I'm the chancellor. I'm trying to say, if you're looking to further your education from a Christian perspective, you might want to look us up. We have just crowned queens, kings, so many royalties over the last year. I had the opportunity to crown them. They looked up our program and if it for them, for their kingdom or whatever they're doing. And I think it's for you as well. Yeah, so readingchristianuniversity.com. I want to get back to this thing because every week we have this thing called the link is what you think. And Dr. Mike, what are we talking about today?
Well, let me show you the book. The link is what you think. There's the book written by that guy on the cover. Yeah, that's me. I also wrote Don't Sweat the Small Stuff way back in the 1980s. And this is all about helping people live better, disturbing themselves less, help. And what I like to do is give 5 tips. And every page in the book has 5 tips. And every day of the week, except for Saturday, I post 5 points to ponder. I just open randomly here, and I'll just share with you 5 tips that I open to. This is on page 200. What are you choosing? You can either feed, we're talking about food, this was random. You can either feed your negative or feed your positive. Whichever you feed wins. Get it? 2, you can believe your own judgments, opinions, and perspectives, or choose to see the good that lies beyond appearances. Get it? You can either choose to see the beauty that everyone has or be blind to it. Get it? You can be excited for the good things that are coming or choose to believe nothing good is going to come. Get it? You can wake up feeling exceptional, unique, victorious, or you can choose to wake up thinking life sucks. Get it? And I'll add, you can think I'll never lose weight, or you can think if I try this NeuroSwitch method, I will. Get it? Remember, the real link is what you think. And if today's 5 points spark even one new way to live better, then mission accomplished. Until the next time we talk about the link is what you think, stay curious, stay kind, and don't sweat the small stuff.
Wow, that is incredible. You know, so happy that we done implemented this in because it goes to exactly what Dr. Hamilton is talking about. It's a mindset thing. So we got about 4.5 minutes before the show. Good. Dr. Mike, you got it. You got it.
I want to hear, Dr. Hamilton, what excites you most about the future of obesity treatment and brain-based medicine?
Yeah, so I'll answer that, but I wanted to just comment on your the link is what you think, because I say that I say your input equals your output, and so I 100% believe wholeheartedly kind of what you're talking about. The thoughts and stuff that enters into the brain becomes the behaviors that gets outputted, and so I just want to kind of second that for you, and I really enjoyed listening to those things. But one of the things that I'm most excited about is that I feel like there has been a shift in obesity. Not only are there so many more treatments that are coming out, some with medication, some now focusing on brain-based, some of the hormones that get released in the brain. I'm really excited to see kind of what all these pan out to be. Again, there's going to be some risk with that, with any type of medication, but I am glad that finally the tides have shifted away from the calories in, calories out. You need to exercise more. There's so much more to having obesity than those things. And not only that, but there's genetics, there's hormones that get released. And now with all the research that's come out, people are revealing that. I see articles all the time talking about, oh, we found this new activity in the brain that stimulates you to want more, I don't know, sugar, or, you know what I'm saying? There's so much more research on this now, and I'm excited to see what's the future look like. And I think patients want more. We owe them more as providers. I think some of the physicians some of them have shifted over. I think there is going to be this more holistic shift. Some people are still like, oh, here's your prescriptive, medication, weight loss, and nutrition. But in big picture, like, I think a lot more people are excited about the shifts and want more in their weight loss journey than just to regain. And they're looking for different things to prevent weight regain. So,
and for people who are looking for more, you have excited them. And I think you've given a sense of hope. Hope. Hold on, pain ends, HOPE. Where can people learn more about your work, your books, your program?
Yeah, so everything is stoptheregain.com. Stop the Regain. I focus a lot on regain because with all the people that are losing weight, believe it or not, it's in the high 80s that actually regain that weight, which is why I shifted to brain-based. And so that's my website. You can find all of the information there. I'm also on Instagram at Dr. Franchell Hamilton, as you see it here, on Instagram and on LinkedIn with the same name. So there's so many places to find the information.
Fabulous. Thank you so much.
Dr. Hamilton, I'm dead serious. There's so much more that we need to talk with you about. And I hope that your schedule allow you to come on for part 2 real soon.
Yeah.
Because this is so important. So I'd like to thank Dr. Michael Mantell for always hitting a home run. I'd like to thank you for taking the time to come on the show. The James Cooley Show is your life. Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and over 84 other live platforms. Most importantly, I'd like to thank Dr. Michelle Cooley for putting together another absolutely outstanding show. But I would be remiss if I didn't thank our audience for tuning in every day. My motto is always dream big, think big, and be big at everything you do. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. It's your life, and we'll see you then.